In the summer of 1858, the most powerful city on earth was nearly defeated by its own river. Not by an army, not by a plague, by a smell. A smell so violent it sent the men who ruled an empire running for the doors. They called it the Great Stink. And to understand it, you first have to understand what London had quietly done to its own river. By 1858, the city held over 2 million people. It was the biggest city the world had ever seen, and all 2 million of those people produced the same thing every single day. Waste. Absolute mountains of it. For centuries, this waste sat in cesspits. Pits dug beneath the houses, emptied out by night by men with shovels and lanterns. It was disgusting. It was medieval. But crucially, it mostly stayed out of the river. Then someone invented a hero that would ruin everything. That small convenience was about to break an entire city, the flushing toilet. A genuine marvel of comfort. It whisked your problem away with one satisfying pull of a chain. People loved it, but where exactly did the problem go? Almost nobody asked. The answer was those same old cesspits, now flushed with gallons of water and overflowing far faster than any man with a shovel could empty them. So the city came up with a brilliant fix. They connected the overflowing pits straight to the street drains, and every street drain in London emptied into exactly one place, the River Thames. So they had, with great effort and the very best of intentions, turned their beautiful river into the largest open sewer in the world. And here is the part that should genuinely make your skin crawl. That same river was where the city pumped its drinking water. The result was grimly inevitable. Cholera. A disease that could take a perfectly healthy person and kill them in a single day. London suffered outbreak after outbreak. Tens of thousands of people died, and almost nobody understood why. The graves filled faster than anyone could dig them, because the science of the day had the cause completely, confidently, catastrophically wrong. They believed in a theory called miasma, the tidy idea that disease was spread by bad smells, by foul air itself, so they were sure the smell was the danger. They had no idea the real killer was invisible, swimming in the very water they were drinking. Hold on to that mistake, because in a strange twist, being completely wrong about the smell is exactly what would end up saving them. Keep that in the back of your mind. It matters later. Now bring it all together. A river packed with the waste of 2 million people. A drinking supply pumped from the same brown water. And then the summer of 1858 arrived. And it was brutal. It was a savage heat wave. Temperatures in the shade hit 95 degrees. The river level dropped and dropped until wide stretches of stinking mudflat lay exposed on both banks. And all that waste, all those years of it, was left baking on the exposed banks under a relentless sun. What rose off that river was not just a bad smell. It was a wall of stench so thick people swore they could see it. People vomited in the streets. They fainted on the bridges. The whole city gagged at once. And of all the buildings unlucky enough to sit right on the riverbank, one stood out above the rest. The brand new Houses of Parliament. Their own wealth and power could not buy them a single breath of clean air. For years, those same lawmakers had cheerfully ignored the river. It was a problem for the poor, downstream, out of sight and out of mind. But now the problem had drifted directly to their desks. And suddenly, the men who ruled an empire could not breathe. Their first solution was both hilarious and completely useless. They ordered the enormous curtains of Parliament soaked in chloride of lime, hoping the chemical would mask the smell. It did absolutely nothing. The stench walked straight through the wet curtains as if they weren't even there. Lime was no match for years of rotting filth. So the most powerful legislature on earth did the only thing it could. It packed up its papers and fled the room in disgrace. One member rose to describe the river for the official record. He called the Thames a Stygian pool, reeking with intolerable horrors. For once, the politician was not exaggerating. Even the great scientist Michael Faraday took a boat onto the water and dropped plain white cards into the river to test how filthy it was. Every card vanished instantly into the brown. He wrote a furious public letter calling the river a real sewer. And the satirical magazines drew Death himself, rowing a small boat slowly down the poisoned Thames. And here is the beautiful, damning irony of the whole story. For decades, fixing the sewers had been treated as impossible, too expensive, too disruptive. Far too much trouble. But the moment the smell reached their own desks, the lawmakers discovered they could move with truly astonishing speed. A bill to clean up the Thames was tabled, debated, and passed into law in just 18 days. 18. Nothing in this world motivates a politician quite like a problem he can personally smell. Suddenly, the impossible became very, very urgent. The new law handed the job, along with a fortune of £3 million, to one quiet, mustachioed engineer. His name was Joseph Bazalgette, and he had already, quietly, drawn up the plan that would fix everything. His idea was simple to describe, but enormous to build. Don't dump the waste into the city's own stretch of river. Carry it far downstream, past everyone, and release it out there. To pull it off, he built a hidden network of giant brick tunnels running underneath the entire city. Sewers so large you could have driven a horse and carriage straight through the middle of them. The numbers are honestly staggering. He replaced over 150 miles of old sewers and built more than 1,100 miles of new ones. The whole thing took 318 million bricks. And then Bazalgette did one more genuinely brilliant thing. He calculated the largest pipe size London would ever possibly need. Then, without blinking, he doubled it. Now remember the great mistake at the heart of all this. Everyone still believed the smell was the killer. They built these monstrous sewers to banish the stench, not the germs. They were solving the wrong problem entirely. But by pulling all that waste out of the drinking water, they had, completely by accident, destroyed the real cause of cholera. They were chasing a smell. They caught a cure, and the great killer of Victorian London simply stopped. Cholera, the disease that had taken tens of thousands, faded from the city. It did not slowly improve. It collapsed almost overnight. Bazalgette's accidental masterpiece is thought to have saved more lives than the work of any other single official in the entire Victorian age. And here is his final, strange gift to us. He built those tunnels so far ahead of their time that they are still in use today. Right now, beneath the feet of millions of Londoners, the river of waste still runs quietly through Bazalgette's brick. You have almost certainly walked over it without a single thought. So the next time a problem feels too expensive, too far away, or simply not your concern, remember the summer of 1858. London ignored its river right up until the river floated through the windows and emptied Parliament. Sometimes, the only thing that ever truly fixes a problem is letting the powerful smell it for themselves.